Well, a shakeup in the party leadership on Capitol Hill. Republicans now control both the House and the Senate. The GOP taking the victory, campaigning on that promise that they are going to end the gridlock in Washington. Congressional leaders already having their first sit down with the president. My first guest is one of those Republicans who secured a re-election on Tuesday. Senator Lindsey Graham is a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee. He joins us. Good to see you, Senator. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. Good morning.
So what do you see as the policy priorities in terms of getting things done come January?
Well, we got a lot of bills that came from the House to the Senate with bipartisan support from the House that died in the Senate. The Keystone Pipeline. I want to take the defense cuts under sequestration, which will gut our military, replace them with something more balanced. There are so many areas out there that we could work together on immigration. If the president goes it alone on immigration, I think there'll be a backlash in the country. He's completely tone deaf as to the results of this election. Even those who didn't vote, Mr. President, are polled about your policies. They don't like them any more than the people who did vote. So if he goes it alone on immigration, I think it not only will poison the well, but there'll be a backlash against him that will flow over on Democrats yet again.
So what did you see as the early body language from the president in terms of the ability or willingness to work with Republicans?
Spoiled child. He is in denial about what happened. He is arrogant about the results. You don't have to look at the tea leaves to understand what happened. The American people put a stop sign outside the Oval Office. All he's got to do is look at it. They didn't embrace us as Republicans, but this, I'm going to do it by myself on immigration because I'm tired and impatient, is really not worthy of the office. He should be sitting down with us on all fronts, including immigration. And when it comes to his foreign policy, the biggest loser of the midterm, I think, is Iran, because with a Republican-controlled Senate, we can have votes on foreign policy matters that Harry Reid blocked. The first vote I want to take is if there is a deal with Iran over their nuclear program, I want to bring it to the United States Senate for an up or down vote so we can look at it.
All right, I want to talk to you more about Iran, Senator, as well as immigration, because I guess the question becomes, what do you do if, in fact, this is where we're going, where the president is going it alone? So plenty more to talk with you about, Senator Graham. Stay with us, because we want to first, though, look at voters booting the leading party in Congress yet again, what it means as part of the bigger picture. Fox News senior correspondent Eric Shawn joins us with that angle. Good morning to you, Eric.
Good morning, Maria, and good morning, everyone. A divided government reflects a divided people. But on Tuesday, they largely spoke with one voice, throwing support behind Republicans, but it was the fourth such switch in just the last 8 years. Take a look at this question. It's simple and direct. It says, had enough? A flyer from one candidate summing up the mood of many voters across the country. Friday's White House lunch of sea bass, and also for the president, a serving of crow, showed few signs of a more positive mood, with the president vowing to move ahead on his controversial executive order on immigration, despite, as you heard from Lindsey Graham, strong Republican opposition. Take a look at this Fox News poll taken before the election. Only 40% of Americans were satisfied with the way things are going. 59% said they were not satisfied. That sour mood sent Democratic incumbents packing. The newly elected members will try to turn the page and bring high hopes to the nation's capital, like Mia Love of Utah, the first black Republican woman elected to the House. Democrat Gwen Graham, who snatched a Republican seat in Florida. While in New York, Elise Stefanik, at 30 years old, is the youngest member ever elected. And Lee Zeldin will now be the lone Jewish Republican in the House. He is an Iraq war vet and took a seat from a six-term Democrat.
I want to see any type of progress in reforming our tax code and improving our energy policy or our health care policy. Wherever we can find a way to improve the quality of life for our constituents is productive. I think that the dysfunction that we've seen in Washington in the past needs to be in the past, and there needs to be a better day, new way ahead in January with new leadership in Washington.
But that new leadership on Capitol Hill will be doing business with the same old leadership in the Oval Office. And despite those lofty hopes, the mood could likely remain with us until there is a change of management in 2016. Maria?
Eric, thank you for that. Eric Shawn, more now with Senator Lindsey Graham. And Senator, I want to pick up right there. What are you going to do if, in fact, you are dealing with the same old sort of way of doing things, and that is the president wants to go it alone? What does Congress do then?
Don't take the bait as Republicans. If he's going to act immature on immigration, let's don't answer him in kind. There is a deal to be had on infrastructure. Our highway trust fund is woefully short of money. We drive further on a gallon of gas. We've got a shortage in the trust fund. There's $2 trillion of American-held profits overseas by American-owned companies that won't come back at 35%. There's a lot of bipartisan support for a 10% rate to bring that money back into the United States and put it in the highway trust fund so we can build our roads, bridges, and ports. Do not let the president's immature reaction on immigration stop us from working with him when we can and push him to do more, not less.
And of course, we are in a different moment in time than just a year ago when you consider ISIS and what's gone on in terms of terrorism. What are your plans in terms of defense spending?
The defense cuts that we have in place will give us the smallest army since 1940, 420,000 troops, smallest Navy since 1915. We'll be spending about 2.3% of GDP on defense at the end of this decade under sequestration, half of the normal. Replace these defense cuts with something by reforming the tax code, entitlement reform, before we gut the military at the time we need it the most, and also deal with the cuts to the NIH and the CDC. Bipartisan effort to replace sequestration is my #1 priority.
We've got to talk about Iran. I mean, the president is obviously sending a letter. He sent a letter to the Ayatollah without Congress aware of it. What does this tell us about, compromise if, in fact, we're already seeing this kind of behavior take place after Congress has taken the Senate?
Well, it tells you how delusional the president is about the world he's supposed to be managing here. To suggest a military alliance between us and Iran is insane. ISIL will take this as their greatest recruiting opportunity in the history of the organization. You're talking about radical Sunnis who now can not only fight the great Satan America, but the great heretic, the Iranian Shias. It is dumb at every level. Sunni Arabs would rebel with this alliance. Israel would not accept this. The people in Syria would see us joining with Iran, the group that's helping Assad stay in power to kill them. It's dumb at every level. But the biggest mistake is yet to come, and that is a bad deal with the Iranian government over their nuclear program. To suggest that the nuclear program should be part of another alliance is ridiculous. I fear more than anything else that President Obama is going to do a deal with Iran. He wants a deal way too badly over their nuclear program that's going to wind up being just like North Korea, a small enrichment program monitored by the UN that one day leads to a weapon. That's why I'm going to insist to Senator McConnell and Senator Reid that any deal with Iran regarding their nuclear program come to the Senate so we can look at it and vote on it. If it's a good deal, I vote yes. If it's a bad deal, I will kill it. And the president doesn't want the deal to come to the Senate. Well, we need to pass legislation making it come to the Senate.
And you think you'll be effective in doing that?
I can't imagine any Democrat that could say the following: I trust Barack Obama and John Kerry so much, I don't even want to look at a deal with Iran regarding their nuclear program. If you ask me, the one thing that would throw the world in further chaos than it is today is to give the Ayatollahs a nuke. Sunni Arabs would want one of their own. Israel would be in the middle of a nuclear arms race, and I fear the Iranians not only would use the nuclear technology against Israel, they would use it against us. This is the most dangerous thing that could possibly happen in the world, and President Obama, I think, wants a deal way too badly.
Senator, good to have you on the program. Thanks so much for your insights on this important issue.
Thank you.